Well,
okay.
you're here.
I'm here.
You're here.
Yes.
I thought you were in the canteen.
Yes, I was.
Making
hot coffee.
And you let me do the job on my own. So lunch is on you.
Yes, it's on me. I'm sorry about that. Welcome back. It's the Ben Breakfast Show. I am Tommy Bade-Jerko. And as usual, after the paper review, we have a wonderful guest in the studio. Today, we have a beautiful woman in the studio, which she'll be talking about a wonderful book she wrote. She's a pastor, she's a lawyer, and she's also a writer. Welcome, RoseMary Graham.
Thank you very much.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us on the Ben Breakfast Show. Before we start asking you about your book and, you know, what's it about, you're a lawyer. Do you want to talk about that?
Well, I'm a corporate lawyer.
Okay.
I run now my own corporate law firm in Amsterdam for 4 years.
Wow.
And that is stopped now. I'm concentrating on my life as a writer.
Okay, and also a pastor.
As a teacher and a speaker.
Okay. So do you want to tell us about what inspired you to start writing?
Oh, this book
Yes.
called The Gospel Illuminators
Yeah.
was given to me by the Lord.
Okay.
I've been putting down information for a few years, and by last year, January, I felt the Lord saying, now you stop everything and concentrate on writing this epistle to the church of the 21st century. I want you to put things down. So it took me a while to get into that, but I've done that, and the book is published. And last Saturday, the 25th of March, the book was launched in London.
Okay.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to write the book?
The writing took about 9 months. That's actually writing, but putting down the information a few years.
Okay. Chinade.
Yeah, interesting. First, I want to say that I love the lovely hair.
Thank you, Daddy.
I'm sure it's good to maintain. It's easier to maintain that kind of hair.
Yes, it is.
Not to disrespect the ladies that wear weave-ons, but I didn't recognize a friend who had a weave-on because I'm used to her seeing her in natural
Most
hair.
men like the African braids and twists.
Yes, you know.
They say so, but when they see the weaves, their eyes still roll and look at the
because
weaves,
you
right?
can't recognize them, but they look nice. You know, you can't recognize some ladies, of course, sometimes, but you can. Yeah, but I'm quite, intrigued with the book, and of course that you've left your profession as a lawyer, as Tommy mentioned, and writer, and lawyers do earn a lot of money, and you've obviously looked beyond money to write this book. Yes. But I'm sure the viewers at home would like to know, what message are you sending in this book, The Gospel Illuminators? Well,
the title, The Gospel Illuminators, means those who have illuminated the light of the gospel in different eras. In this book, I've looked at several eras in the history of the Church of Jesus Christ. From the beginning of time, even the Old Testament, the Hebrews 11, the heroes of faith, their lives, what we can learn in our generation from their stories.
And what is it that we can learn?
Okay, let me just take David, King David, who's one of the characters written about in that chapter 11. He was such a passionate man of God. He was really, he became a king, but he kept his humble countenance. He was always humble, working with his God. Powerful, but meek. So this is what you can learn from the life of David. Powerful, but meek.
Interesting. Apart from David, any other female character? I know you don't want to tell us everything about the book, but, just a taste of the iceberg.
I've written about a few women. Rahab was a powerful woman of God.
Okay.
She started out as a prostitute. She was a doorway into Jericho. Anybody going to Jericho passes through her, because her home was the open door. And God can also use doorways, isn't he? God used this woman to make the way possible for Jericho to be taken. So, and then she was delivered with her family, and she became part of Israel, got married, and became the mother of Boaz.
Yeah.
That's all in the book.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Interesting. So the book is obviously based on factual research, isn't it?
Factual, yes.
Now, in the book you as well talk about we need to have the Martin Luther Kings of today. And I didn't even know who Martin Luther King was. The only Martin I knew was my cousin, So I used to hear, I used to hear a lot about Martin Luther King. And when I did my own personal research, I found that Martin Luther King was somebody that was too intelligent for his days. So when you talk about the Martin Luther Kings of today, what do you mean by that? Tell us more.
Well, not Martin Luther King, because that's an American. This Martin Luther was German, the Reformation.
Yeah.
This brilliant, like you said, very intelligent in his day, brilliant man of God, was a monk, an Augustinian monk. And he saw God in different places. There was something missing in his life.
What was his background?
He was a monk. He studied law. He did so many things, a philosopher. And then he went into the priesthood and studied and became a monk, and as an Augustinian monk. And he was seeking God from everywhere. He was really, but he couldn't find him. He had no peace in his heart until one day he came across that it was by faith. He had to know God by faith. He had to have faith in God. The man is justified by faith alone in God.
And what is faith? You know, viewers would like to know. You know, faith is something. Me and Tommy would be sat there, and Tommy would be saying, "Chinode, life is okay." No, Tommy, I've just got, I've got no food. You know, the cockroaches are going next door for lunch, right? But they just have faith. I mean, how should we practice faith? I mean, from obviously you've touched on faith in that book. How should people, practice real faith?
You know, faith is putting trust in a being that is not yourself. You know, it's letting go of your own belief or your own views and trusting in a being that's not yourself. That's God.
Yeah.
So you are prepared to trust God. So if God says so, that's good enough for me. You know, that was what Martin Luther discovered, that it was only God that he needed. He just needed to trust God, not to do. Works are good, but without faith in God, you're just, doing nothing really.
Yeah.
So you need to just trust God, know that he loves you, that you're his child, that he's got everything under control.
Yeah.
Another question I want to throw is, like, obviously, you launched this book last Saturday
Yeah.
on the 25th of March.
Yeah.
But as you've been writing the book, what sort of response have you had from people? Has it touched anybody? No, don't tell us any lie.
No, I wouldn't.
Tell us the truth.
Yeah,
Right, tell us the truth. What reviews have you had from people, that have, people might have been touched, or you've actually helped a person? Some people I read on social media saying, today I went to church and I felt like the pastor priest was talking to me. So have you had that kind of?
Of course, I've had that. Several. I was actually speaking in a women's conference for 4 days last week, and I taught from the book the different characters. I spoke about Rahab, her life, and I spoke about Empress Helena, the mother of Constantine.
Yeah.
I spoke about Mary, the mother of Jesus.
Yeah.
You know, these were powerful women of God who did great things. So I spoke about their lives, and they were really challenged and encouraged. This book is to set an awakening. When you read it, you are awakened. That's why it's an epistle, to set the church on fire again. This is the mission of this book, is to set the church on fire. The 21st century church needs to wake up and put boots on the ground.
Yeah.
It
I was
says
about to ask you that. Okay,
boots on the ground.
When you write a book, you just don't write. Obviously, there's always a reason behind you writing. Is it that you're trying to send a message, you're trying to inspire somebody? So from this book, I can gather that you're trying to send a message to the 21st century church to wake up.
To wake up.
Wake up.
And put boots on the ground.
Can you explain boots on the ground?
It's there in this book that, that's military, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
There's the difference between warfare when you have boots on the ground and when you just send in missiles.
Yeah, true.
Because when you have boots on the ground, they will deal with real issues. So when you really want to win a war, you have to put boots on the ground.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what it means.
So they should just be at alert and ready.
Ready to do whatever it takes.
Okay. Where can they get this book? Because that's another thing. So we missed the book launch, obviously, but I'm sure there's somewhere they can have access to the book.
This book is on Amazon, on Albrace, on many of the online retailers. So if you just go online, put The Gospel Illuminators by RoseMary Graham, you'll find different places you can order the book online. Yeah.
Okay. So are they available to churches too?
it's just been launched.
Oh,
So
okay.
now we're going to make, several churches were there, so we're now going to take up that. So that, yeah.
Is this the last book you're going to write,
Now
or
this
there are
is
many
this
more?
is the first of the many books. I'll
Okay,
write.
good, good.
Fantastic. Well, it's interesting, isn't it?
Very interesting. And everything is going to be centered on the Christian life.
Yeah,
Okay.
messages to the church.
To the
That's
church.
what God wants me to focus
Oh,
on.
nice,
Yeah.
nice, nice. Chinede?
Okay, I was going to say, me and Tommy here like to learn with every guest that we, invite. You talk about how the church can use this information to the awakening of the 21st century. Could you highlight a little bit on that?
In this book, I've looked at the history of the church, several eras in church life.
Shed us more light. What's the history of the church?
I've looked at the church before the Reformation and the church during the
How
Reformation.
was the church before the Reformation?
Well, we had, first of all, the church was started by our Lord Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So I spoke about the man Jesus in the book. Then after that, I went to the apostles, the apostolic era of the church, where the apostles, the 12 apostles were around.
Yeah.
Then after that, we moved into the post-apostolic era,
Yep.
where the apostle Paul and several of his colleagues, Apollos,
Yeah.
Priscilla, Aquila, all these mighty titles, and all of them
Yeah.
were still alive.
Yeah.
So after that, after the post-apostolic era, then you move to another era in church history. That was during the Ante-Nicene, where you have Constantine, Empress Helena. So I spoke about that era. Then after that era, then we moved into the evangelical era. So it's different eras.
Different
Then you have
yeah.
the Pentecostal era
Yeah.
and the charismatic. That's
Yeah.
that's the last era.
Yeah.
So now there's a new era,
Yeah.
which is the era of the Gospel Illuminators, where we are going to illuminate the light of Christ
That's a mix.
afresh.
It's a mix of history and obviously
Yeah.
and Christianity and religion. So yeah, because some people don't even know those era. Most of them know the ones that started. So the Gospel Illuminators, nice name. How did you get to use this name, the Gospel Illuminators?
The Lord gave me the name
Okay.
by Himself. I was putting all kinds of names.
Where
before.
were you?
I knew Chinede was going to say that.
I'm
Was
doing
she
it.
sleeping?
The
Was it in a
viewers, were you
dream?
sleeping? Were you chopping pounded yam? Were you watching telly? Tell us more.
I was just I'm just writing. I didn't even have. I didn't know which name I was. Just thinking of different names, and I felt God telling me illuminating. I said, illuminating. What does that mean, to illuminate?
Yeah.
Then then illuminating. Then after a while, I heard gospel. Then I was trying to work it out, illuminating the gospel.
Yeah.
Then gospel illuminators.
Nice.
Yeah, that was like
nice.
yeah.
Nice. Interesting. So you said we can get the book on Amazon, and you said there are more other things to write. So what is life outside you being a writer? Can you tell us?
My life is concentrated right now on reading.
Yeah.
I'm doing a lot of research because I'm actually writing the second book already.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, and also speaking. I'm going to speak. I'm being invited to several places in the world already to go and speak. So I'm preparing a lot of notes.
Okay.
So my life is, if all my children are grown up.
Okay. So
I'm a grandmother. I'm going to have 2 grandchildren this year. So all married, all grown up. So totally
you have
free.
the time.
I have the time. This is my time to
to
impact the lives of God's people.
Yeah.
So, this is what I'm dedicated
If
to
the
do.
grandchildren don't disturb grandma.
Family oriented. That's quite interesting to say, your parent, family. But then how is it important for Christians to take their Christian lives seriously? Does that help in terms of the direction of, where our children are heading to if we commit to, rather than waking up on a Sunday with a hangover, or rather than waking up on a Sunday to say, let's go to church, or, Dad, there's Man United versus Liverpool. What time are we watching that? Or how important is that?
Why this book is written as an epistle to the church is that we are to lead the world. The church is to illuminate the light of Christ, the light of the Bible. We are to teach the world how to raise their children.
Yeah.
You have all that in the book, how to do that. We need to go back to the foundation of God's word. From there, we can lead the world again. So you know how to parent, you know how to be a good wife, a good husband, because the family is the bedrock of society, also the bedrock of the church. It should be. So we are the church. We are to teach the world how to raise their families, how to be good wives and husbands, how to build strong families.
Yeah.
So that's
charity definitely begins at
home.
Charity definitely begins at home.
Yeah.
Well, that's very interesting. So you preach as well, isn't it? In your pastor, or is it Reverend?
Yes, I did pastor churches before many years ago.
Okay.
Yes,
so now she does more of speaking and teaching.
Yeah, now
and
the Lord wants me to help to build the churches across the world.
Across the world. Okay, so what's the name of the next book you're writing?
No, I can't give you that.
No, you can just reveal it on the breakfast show.
We keep
it a secret here.
It's not allowed.
We don't keep it a secret here.
Okay, so apart from that, you said you relax. How do you relax again? Grandkids?
I've got beautiful, beautiful grandkids. So I relax with them, with my children, my family. And also with brothers and sisters, I've got loads of beautiful people in my life. So I feel blessed, blessed, and blessed.
Where is the next place you're going to now?
Well, I'm getting ready to go back to the Netherlands. That's where I'm based.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm from Britain, but I've been in the Netherlands for almost 17 years now. So I'm going back to the Netherlands.
So now we're really, really pleased to have you. Thank you so much for coming. But we want you to tell us your final words to people out there that maybe, I like the fact that you said that this is the time for you to do something, because sometimes earlier part of your life, people don't have the time to actually follow their passion. So many things, maybe the work you're doing at that time, motherhood, parenthood, all those things, life reality messes up with people. And now you've taken time after all this to still take time and now do what you want to do. So what do you have to tell people?
I think what I would like to say is like Abraham. Look at the life of Abraham. He was 75 years old when God called him into a new life. So, I'm going to 60, even though maybe I look a bit younger.
Yes, you do.
I'm close to 60 now. So you shouldn't feel that you're too old, that you can't do anything.
Yeah.
I think I want to encourage those who are over 50,
the 50 pluses,
like myself, that that vision that God has put in your spirit, it's time to get up and do something about it.
Yeah.
I mean, this book, just try and get a copy of this book. This book will kickstart you, and it will kickstart an awakening in your local church, in congregations. I mean, I am going to teach on how to use this book to start an awakening in different parts of the world. So if you want me to come, just make contact and all that, and I'll be ready to come.
You want to give out your details, where they can get the book, and if anybody needs a word of advice, especially the 50-plus moms, grandmoms, granddads out there. So, yeah. Yeah,
you can contact me on info@thegospelilluminators.com. Okay. So info@thegospelilluminators by email. Okay. I think that's the best and easiest way.
Most people like the email.
By email. Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us on the Ben Breakfast Show, and wish you good luck and safe trip back to the Netherlands.
Yes, God bless you.
So that is it on the Gospel Illuminators. Make sure you try and get your copies on Amazon. And like we said, if you need a word of advice, especially if you're a 50-plus grandma over there, granddad, or just anyone that you just need to talk to somebody, she's giving out the details. It's info@thegospelilluminators.com. So yes, reach out. We'll go on a short break now. You're still watching the Ben Breakfast Show. Don't go anywhere.